Two people stand in the exact same room and watch the exact same thing happen. Afterward, one of them is elated, the other is devastated. We usually explain this away as a difference in perspective, filing interpretation under soft things that only happen to people after reality is finished being real. In his book, The Reality Equation, John Rector argues that we confuse the cold facts of a situation. When we use the word reality to mean both things at once, we lose our ability to analyze how a life is actually lived. This framework defines reality as a literal quotient, a mathematical relation between two distinct variables. Reality equals the actual event that occurred, divided by your expectation of it. Your experience is the specific result of what arrived, landing in the mental structure you already had. Solving the equation begins with the numerator, or the actual. This is the immovable, objective record of the past. The actual is a positive scalar quantity. It carries no moral charge, contains none of the what-ifs or alternative possibilities that failed to happen. There is an inherent asymmetry here. The world produces the numerator, while you produce the denominator. Because the past is finished and unchangeable, the source of every human disagreement about reality must live entirely in the denominator. Expectation requires two intersecting axes. The horizontal, real axis is a subconscious machine forecasting what happens next based on exposure. The vertical, imaginary axis represents your orientation, what you want or fear. This pulls your forecast away from a flat prediction, giving expectation an angle. This geometry allows two people with identical, accurate forecasts to have entirely different experiences. Their predictions were the same, but they were facing different directions. Because the denominator has an angle, the result of the division must also have an angle. This means surprise is more than just a measurement of being off. It is a measurement of which direction the correction came from. Magnitude surprise shows exactly how far off you were in size. Angular surprise shows the precise direction of the hit. This perfectly explains why you can technically predict an event and still feel completely blindsided when it arrives. You were right about the odds, but you were hit from an axis you weren't facing. To understand consciousness, we must look at the prediction machine before it settles on a guess. It holds a cloud of unresolved, live possibilities. A machine with almost no spread is collapsed into certainty. A machine with no organization is a smear of incoherent noise. High consciousness requires both, a wide cloud of possibilities held in an organized, oscillating structure. Rector defines consciousness as the internalized shape of the world's own structured uncertainty. It is maximized when a system pushes its spread right to the edge of its ability to keep it organized, a state that functions like music just before a choice is made. This equation serves as a diagnostic tool for human disappointment, showing that unhappiness comes from two different sources that require opposite treatments. If your disappointment is a prediction error, your machine is miscalibrated. The cure is exposure. Repeated contact with the world until your machine reshapes itself to match what actually arrives. If the disappointment is an ideational bias, your predictions are accurate, but you are holding an ideal the world does not support. This requires a change in your stance, as no amount of evidence will fix a leaned orientation. Personal transformations often fail because we try to fix a prediction error by deciding to feel differently, or we try to fix a bias by gathering more facts. The equation predicts the failure of both. If we constantly learn and adapt, we might expect reality to eventually settle into a permanent, unsurprising baseline. But finite creatures can never fully resolve the infinite complexity of the world. There is always a structured gap between what we pointed at and what actually got made, the remainder. Our attention is the conscious record of this gap. It is the accumulated surprise that our prediction machine could not make disappear. This gap is the engine of progress, signaling that an ideal is still being actualized through wheelmakers. We dance to the remainder.